Welcome back, YouTube Axis and Allies Brethren, to the turret in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where we're in round 4. This is Italy's turn, so I-4. So for the production phase of this turn, we are producing 1 bomber for 12. We're producing 1 infantry, 1 artillery, and 1 tank for 12. So 12 and 12. So we had 24 to spend and we used it all. And so for the combat phase of this turn, we've got 2 combat movements. We've got 1 transport from C-Zone 15 traveling 2 C-Zone spaces to 13, bringing 1 infantry and 1 tank from Italy. So picking those up from Italy along the way. We've got another transport in 13 bridging the infantry and artillery unit from Morocco over to Gibraltar. We've got 1 bomber from Italy traveling 3 spaces from Italy to Gibraltar, supporting those ground units with some bombing runs. So that is the battle for now, and they will be going up against 2 UK tank divisions. So we'll go roll that now. All right, so we've got this battle for Gibraltar set up on the board here. We've got 1 bomber with a red die, 1 tank with a blue die, 2 green for the artillery and infantry, and 1 black for the solo infantry. So here's the roll now, looking for 2 hits, And we got 2 hits. All right, so that eliminates the 2 tank divisions from the UK. They, of course, get to fire back. And since they have a defense of 3, they get to roll 2 blue die. So here is that return fire. And they got 2 hits. So very fortunate for them on the way out to get 2 hits. All right, so we'll take that back to the board now. All right, so for our last combat maneuver this round, we're going to send another bomber. Yeah, I know the Japanese one we sent last time got shot down, but we're going to send an Italian one this time, so hopefully he has better luck. We're sending him from Egypt at a movement of 1, 2, and 3 spaces into the Caucasus to do that bombing run. So we'll do that now. All right, so here is the anti-aircraft fire at the bombing raid in the Caucasus. And there was a miss. And here is the damage done on the factory in the Caucasus. 1. Big old 1 damage. All right, not even sure that was worth it. All right, so we'll do that. We'll go back to the board now. All right, so for the non-combat phase of this round, we're going to bring the bomber that's supported in Gibraltar back to Italy. Thank you there, Private Joe. Sometimes I forget midstream what I'm doing. All right, so we got the bomber going back to Italy. We've got this bomber that did the bombing run, the really big bombing run on the Caucasus, going all the way back to Libya, 3 spaces, 1 and 2 and 3, 16, 14 to Libya. We've got the fighter from India traveling 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to Libya. And that should be all of our non-combat movements. So we'll be back with unit placement and income. All right, so for the place units phase of this round, we've got the 1 bomber that was produced going into Italy. We've got 2 bombers there now. Obviously, they're stationed at Aviano Air Force Base. And we've got the 1 tank division going into Italy, 1 infantry going into Italy, and the artillery going into Italy. So we'll chip those out here in a little bit and come back with the recap. All right, so for the collect income phase, Italy is still on 13. There's no IPC value in Gibraltar, so there was no change there. So they're on 13. They still achieved both national objectives. So they'll collect their base 13 IPCs and their 2 national objectives. So they'll have 23 IPCs to spend next round. All right, so for unit placement recap, there is 1 tank division and 1 artillery in Gibraltar. There are 2 transports in C-Zone 13. There is 1 bomber and 1 fighter in Libya. There is 1 tank division in Egypt. In Italy, there is one factory, one AA gun, one tank, 2 infantry, 1 artillery, and 2 bombers. So that concludes Italy's turn for round 4. Next up will be the U.S. and China, done by LT. So from the turret in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Captain Jack and Private Joe, over and out.